My name is Chris Becker, call sign Boris, and I'm the commander of the Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command headquartered in San Diego, California. SPAWAR, the Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command, is responsible for delivering information warfighting capabilities or cyber capabilities from seabed to space. We have 3 subordinate commands, one of which is headquartered here in Charleston, South Carolina, SPAWAR Systems Center Atlantic, and part of our host this week at the Charleston Defense Contractors Association. It's the first time I've attended as the commander of SPAWAR. I've been here previously as the program executive officer for command, control, communications, computers, and intelligence. Wow. C4I. This is a wonderful venue in order to be able to engage with industry and other members of government that come here for the same reason, to engage with industry, to engage with academia, and to meet the people that make the magic happen, both in industry and in SPAWAR Systems Center Atlantic, SPAWAR Systems Center Pacific, across the SPAWAR enterprise, and throughout our Navy Marine Corps team. If you look around the floor here, you'll see great examples of technology, technologists, thought leaders, thinkers, engineers, designers. It's a great place to touch the people that are going to make the capability we need come to life. Where to focus? I'll start with the physical. I had the opportunity to talk with some junior engineers, in this case from SPAWAR Atlantic, and they were very excited to share with me the work they've done in the result of a challenge from DARPA on how to deliver a swarm of UAVs and control a swarm of UAVs. Some of these systems were put together with additive manufactured parts, which in itself is a very exciting field, rapidly integrated via commercial Wi-Fi opportunities, creating a capability that didn't exist before. We've had a STEM program for, well, I'd say decades. I think the statistic shows tens of thousands of contacts a year with our STEM outreach. This is a technology-rich environment. We have a workforce that brings in excited people from schools, right out of college as interns, or even mid-career professionals, because the mission we have is exciting. The mission we have is critical to the success of our Navy and the joint warfighter. One way to educate the future workforce is to reach out to them at school age, not just college, not high school, but as middle school as well. And even not necessarily to influence them towards a career in SPAWAR or in the Navy or even in the armed forces, but because a nation that has technical security, economic security, is a nation that has national security. And we need to reach out to our school systems, to the young people of America, and get them excited in the same way that people were excited with the space race and wound up in NASA, or in software, or in hard engineering science. That same sort of excitement, we need that excitement today. This is a team sport, and part of being a team is learning how to fail and take that failure and move on. And part of being a team is to learn who's going to lead and who's going to follow. Because we're all leaders and we're all followers at one point in one place or another. And so those are the kinds of skills that we want to deliver, as well as maybe just give a little bit of an insight as to what's out there in the future if they were to choose that kind of potential. I guess if I go back to my first flight in a tactical airplane coming off the front end of the USS Independence in 1990, and I think about the computing capability that was in my warplane on the eve of combat operations. And I think about the compute power that I carry in my pocket on a daily basis. Wow. Wow. And of course, that's a very mundane comparison. Anyone can kind of make that comparison today. But I put it in terms of warfighting capability. That was the capability that we had then. And it would prove extremely effective in delivering combat power when we needed it in the battle space, delivering electronic attack to protect and defend the strike groups that had to deliver the effects they needed to achieve. Well, roll film forward from 1991 to today in 2017, on the eve of 2018. Our warfighters are out there today, and they need capabilities supporting them. The people stay the same, though, because the people are what make it happen. The people are what make the magic happen. The people are the ones who come up with the designs, who deliver on commitments, who deliver capabilities, sustain it and operate it, and are excited about it. Well, that's what we see around here today. I think everyone recognizes that we need to move faster. In fact, the Secretary of Defense has put out in his guiding document that we need to look at how to reform processes in the department in order to increase our lethality and to increase our readiness. Now that's not an ask, that's a direction. And after 30 years in uniformed service, I know how to follow orders. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to figure out how to go faster on thinking about what we need, defining those requirements, delivering on those commitments, and making sure that the joint warfighter has what they need in order to compete and win. We're going to make that happen. What's the difference today? We have to think more innovatively. We have to think more innovatively about the things that we took for granted. Systems that we expected to be there, or systems that we treated as administrative systems, are no longer. The first computer that I had on my desk on a ship, I used for routine things like documents or eventually email, and that was pretty cool to have on a ship. Logistics, etc. We didn't think about those things as warfighting capabilities. I guarantee you that if you went out today to the USS Ronald Reagan, our forward deployed aircraft carrier, and asked the commanding officer of Ronald Reagan if his network was a warfighting system, he would not hesitate to tell you that it was. We need to treat it that way. We need to design it that way. We need to program it that way. We need to operate and sustain it and fight it that way. That's a difference. One thing that's different is the way we view information. As I mentioned earlier, my background is electronic attack, and that was going after radars in the RF environment so that we could achieve our mission. Information processing systems, well, by and large, we viewed those as administrative capabilities. Even the systems that were providing our logistics, our personnel, etc., you know what I mean. Today, those systems, we recognize that they are information systems, they are information warfare systems. And as such, we need to treat them and their operators as information warfighters. That's a fundamental shift. And you see that playing out across our Navy at the most senior levels, referring to our information warfare community. That changes how you think about capabilities. It changes how you design capabilities. It changes how you sustain, and modernize, and operate them. It changes everything. Our focus is going to be on being able to compete and win. And whether that's with information, or data, or some might say knowledge, our focus has got to be on being able to compete and win. And the mission of our Navy to deter aggression and, when necessary, fight and win our nation's wars decisively, well, that rests on that information. So we can talk about cloud and implementing cloud and the challenges and opportunities that represents. We can talk about data and big data analytics. We can talk in deep detail about what it means to have solid state capabilities, or to talk about increased satellite bandwidth, and what it means to have nanosatellites, increasing our constellation's capabilities for ISR, for communications. We can talk about the undersea and where we're going there. Those are all enablers to make sure that our warfighter can compete and win on today's battlefield and tomorrow's battlefield. That's what our nation is expecting of us.